Kyler Murray, he's not really usually into some drama, but he was posing with his dog wearing a Michael Vick jersey. Okay, I'm sure you guys all know this, but Vick, of course, was convicted of operating and financing a dog fighting ring in 2007, and he served 21 months in prison for this. So here, Kyler Murray posted this on Instagram. Obviously, the internet lost it. Aqib, how are you feeling about this? This was a crazy oversight.
Well, there's some dope-ass pictures, though. I must admit, the pictures is fucking nice, you know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like as a quarterback of an NFL franchise, it's a bad decision. You don't want to flirt with that drama like
Nobody
that.
taking it was thinking, this is a bad look?
How can you not? I mean, the person taking it, he's just doing his job. But Kyler looking at it, I'm sure he like, Vic Jersey, the dog, he had to know that it was going to be a little bit of drama behind it. You know what I'm saying? So just if you're a quarterback of an NFL franchise, man, just steer clear of that kind of drama, in my opinion. You could put on a different jersey, take a picture with the dog. Them shits would have came out just as nice.
Yeah.
Or just take the dog out of it and take a picture with Michael Vick. They can't blame you for being a Michael. I like Michael Vick. I'm saying he did what he did. He served his punishment. Ain't nothing wrong with liking Michael Vick as a fan. You know what I'm saying? So I just think even if a DB would have did it, if a DB do it, hey man, a wide receiver do it, hey. But just as the quarterback, one of the leaders of that franchise, you just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? He might be like, bro, I'm just taking a picture of my dog with my favorite quarterback's jersey on. But just because who you are, you just can't do it. So I think a bad decision by my guy, man. That's my dog too. I rock with Kyler, but it's just a bad decision.
I have rocked with Kyler for a long time, since he was at Oklahoma. I campaigned for him to be the first pick in the draft. I got to know Michael Vick when I worked with him at Fox, and I have come to love him also. But with Kyler, I keep waiting for him to grow up and become the face of that franchise. So they get off to a 2-0 start, albeit they won at New Orleans and they beat Carolina at home, but they're 2-0. And they got a chance to be pretty good, maybe very good. And out of the blue, this happens. And I just sat back and shook my head because it comes off as tone deaf and ultimately just clueless. What are you thinking? Because I don't know that he was thinking, because he's a current black quarterback appearing to make some kind of bad joke about, to me, the most beloved black quarterback ever.
Right.
The Michael Vick experience that was Michael Vick in Atlanta, Georgia. It was the most exciting football I have ever watched from any single player, who was the most devastating broken field runner I have ever seen. He obviously began to dominate Madden in ways no player ever has dominated. And we're to a point where half the quarterbacks now starting in this league are black. Again, I've come a long way with this. I go all the way back to the Rams, covering the Rams when James Shaq Harris was the only black quarterback starting. And if you told me then that half the quarterbacks in the league would be black, I would have laughed at you, because I'd just say these old school white guys, they're never going to go for this.
Right.
And now it's the thing. Now it's the way to go. And it's only going to get more and more. So here's Kyler, who is kind of a creation of Michael Vick. You know, like Michael Vick, in a way, opened the door for what Kyler does, because he obviously uses his legs as much as he uses his arm. And he can be a devastating broken field runner. So here's a Kyler who clearly had a video game addiction when he first got into pro football. And it got to the point where one of the guests who was invited to a birthday party of his in 2022 told me that they surprised him, and he went up to his room and locked the door and played video games the whole night while everybody was celebrating his birthday downstairs. That's how addicted he was to playing video games.
Yeah.
And then the clause was put in his 2022 contract when he re-upped with Arizona, and it was the homework clause. And I'll read it real quick. That Kyler's required to dedicate at least 4 hours a week to independent study of game film with penalties for non-compliance. And I'm like,
how do they
what?
monitor that?
What?
They can see your time.
Yeah,
You can see how much time
on your
you
pad.
watch on the iPad.
Okay. They eventually, when it got public, because it was part of a public contract, they took it out because it shamed him and them. It just looked terrible for the franchise. But that's Kyler. And I keep saying, come on, man. You're now the 7th year. At some point, you got to act like you're the face of the franchise. You're the leader of the football team. And where that came from, I have no idea. It's just a bad look for him and for them at a time they are off to a 2-0 start.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Look, I don't know if it was intentional or not. And he said that it wasn't. And he said it wasn't in bad taste.
I don't think it was.
But the problem I have with that is he admitted to admiring Michael Vick, right? If you grew up like we all did. I mean, Michael Vick is the reason that I played quarterback. I mean that. I mean, I would wear the Vick cleats. I had the sleeves on. I had the 3-bar, face mask with the smoke visor. Like, I wanted to be Michael Vick in middle school.
Did you play like Michael Vick?
He just couldn't run.
Yeah, I
wanted to be him.
Hey, easy now. Easy now. I can move a little bit, and I put on a little weight when I got to college. That freshman 15 got me. I went from dual threat to pro style. But no, I mean, I idolized Michael Vick, as a lot of us did growing up. And the biggest issue I have, like Akeem said, like, it's just, you can't be that distraction. Someone took that photo. He put the jersey on, got the dog, took the photo. You had to edit it, look at it, and then you had to go hit send. I feel like if you admit that you admire Michael Vick and you know what he's about, you obviously know the backstory. So that didn't cross your mind one time to think, you know what, this might be in bad taste. And you know,
the one photo your dog's in.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why I don't want to think it was intentional. I don't want to think it was a bad joke or it was trying to be a publicity stunt or whatever it may be. But with with what we've seen from Kyler in the past, with the video game stuff and with some of the off-field leadership things, it's hard for me to think that it wasn't. Like, I believe maybe, he did do this to get a little bit of attention, to cause a stir, because I couldn't imagine doing that and then not thinking a little bit about the repercussions of, this is going to be a distraction to my team. People are going to take this the wrong way. For him to just hit send after all those stages and taking the photo and getting dressed, it's just bad taste for me. I
don't think it was a bad joke, though. I don't think he was like trying to shoot a slug at Vick.
Heck no.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. I think he was honestly showing Vick some love. I rock with Vick. I rock with pitbulls. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to just, be neutral in the situation. Like, but
I think it was a bulldog, right? It wasn't a pit bull. Right?
Shit.
Whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It looked like a pit bull to me.
It looked like a pit bull. Yeah, I'm like,
I've been around them. It looked like a pit bull to me.
I have
one.
Yeah.
I have one.
I have one too.
I had two. One of them just passed away. I know pit bulls when I see them. So
yes, you do.
Yep. I think it was a pit bull. Okay. But I think he was actually just showing love. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm neutral in the situation. I love dogs. I got a dog, a pit bull, and I love Michael Vick. This is my favorite quarterback.
If you'd been sitting there with Kyler at that moment, I think you would have said,
don't post that, Kyler.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, don't post it. Put another jersey on, bro, or just take the dog out of it, fam. Also, I would have told him. So
you were 15-ish, I think, when this went down and Michael went to prison. I think you were right in that neighborhood.
I think I might have been older. I feel like because Michael Vick was in Kansas, and I feel like I was in Kansas.
It was 2007.
Oh, so yeah, I was in Kansas. Yeah, I got drafted in 2008. So yeah, I was in Kansas.
Okay.
Because I remember Michael Vick being in Kansas. We was in Kansas.
Oh, you know what I was
thinking? We was like, we gonna go see him and shit.
When he was a rookie, when he hit, you were 15-ish, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so what did he mean to you when you were in high school?
Well, I love Michael Vick. Like, I was like Kyler, shit. I loved the Madden. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't take me off the game. So I made sure I got Michael Vick in fantasy drafts.
He was the most unstoppable.
Bro, he was just like a different breed. Like, we've never seen a quarterback. No. He was he revolutionized that quarterback position. You know what I'm saying? He's a running back playing quarterback, and he could throw this shit too. Mm-hmm. So
he could.
It was crazy for me to see it, but at the same time, Skip, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and Trenton, New Jersey, and I seen 40 dog fights. So I grew up seeing it. It's so regular on that East Coast. So, him being from Virginia, when it came out, I'm like, damn, Vick ain't had nothing to do with it. Them just his partners just doing it. He just caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't more like, I was like, he fighting dogs because I grew up, he a product of his environment. Shit, like I'm a product of my environment. It's what we grew up seeing. So that part wasn't as mind-boggling to me. It was just that, damn, Vick had the whole operation. Nah, it was Vick probably just gave his partner some cash and they put it together and not his name in it. So it was shocking to me that Vick was like running this shit. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the dog fight, man, I grew up seeing that kind of stuff.
Okay, how did you feel about him he got 23 months, was
Yeah.
sentenced as almost 2 years in prison. He served 21 or 23, as Kinsey said.
21, yeah.
But the point is, did you feel like that was overly severe punishment for the crime?
I mean, I think you do the crime, you do the time.
Yeah.
It's whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? If you get caught, whatever the district attorney tell you, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that's what he put on your plate. That's what you got to do. He couldn't give you life for it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not a life sentence type of crime. You know what I'm saying? It's a 2-year type of crime, and that's what he gave you, the max, or he can give you a half of it, or he can give you none of it. He gave you probably the max of what you could do because who you are. So, hey, you do the crime, man, you do the time. So I'm sure Vick could say the same thing, man. He did it. He served his punishment. Now he's getting another shot. He got the Fox, got another shot. You're getting another shot at coaching now, man. It's part of his story, man. He can go around and be an advocate for it now. And tell kids not to do it and what it did to his life, how much it changed his life. So
Yeah. You want to go?
No, go ahead, Skip.
So I became a huge Michael Vick fan to the point I was not going to miss his games.
Same.
It was must-see TV because something was going to happen that you'd never seen before. And when he carried Atlanta, coached by Dan Reeves, who I knew very well, all the way to a big playoff win at Green Bay on a cold Saturday night, and they won big, I was like, this man has revolutionized this game. And it continued on. It was up and down here and there, and he and Dan fought a lot about you can do this, but you can't do that on the football field. And yet you saw him growing up and taking over not only that team, but that city. And you know Atlanta, I think, pretty well, right? And it was such a mecca for black people, 50% population black people, sort of the black Hollywood it was known as. And no player could have fit a city better than Michael fit that team at that time in that town. And when this came down, it just rocked me and shocked me because I grew up around cockfighting, not so much dog fighting, but I was a dog lover from the time I was born, and I still am, and I have a dog who's the love of my life, and so it mixed my emotions because the prospect of Michael being convicted for executing dogs, because it's a felony offense, obviously, it was just hard for me to overcome it for a while until I got to know Michael, and I believe his heart is good. I know him, and I wouldn't say this if I didn't believe it and have spent enough time where he paid a severe penalty, price, because he lost age 27 and age 28 in the National Football League.
Yeah.
That's a lot of, that's prime time, man. That's just, you just took the heart out of his career. And he came back under Andy Reid in Philly, and they had some moments, but he never was quite what he was in Atlanta. Not quite. Wound up in Pittsburgh for Coach Tomlin, but still, what would he have been without this? You know, like, oh my God. Because he was on the rise, and then it obviously, it shamed him personally, it humbled him. He went through so much, and he rose up out of it. He's a good man. So for me, I obviously forgive him for all that he did. It's hard to forget about it if you really, really love dogs, and I'm sure a lot of people out there just they'll never give it up. But he's a good man. He's in a good place. They're off to a little bit of a shaky start because he's got to change the culture there at Norfolk State. They're 1-2. They got rocked by Rutgers 60-10, but that's going to happen because they're not in the same league with literally and figuratively with Rutgers. But you have to appreciate what he went through and what he overcame and what he has become. And I do believe he will be the leader of men in college football.
Yeah, and I can respect that. And I'm never going to judge someone for their background, and everyone's upbringing looks different. And I believe that too, that you're a product of your environment. I wasn't around that growing up. I grew up in Bakersfield, California, which is just a small kind of farm town, and I wasn't around that. So you know, Vick was my idol, and I mean that to the fullest extent. I mean, I had the posters up on the wall. I watched every single game that he was in. I wanted to be just like him. So for me, you know, when this happened, I think I was right around 14 years old. So idolized him all through middle school, got to high school, and then this happened. And I grew up, my parents had pit bulls, they still do. I have my dog Coda, German Shepherd Husky at home. Like, I love dogs. That's always been a part of my life. So when that happened, to me, it was like, he did what? Because I didn't know dog fighting was a thing at the time, or cockfighting or any of that stuff, you know? So I'm like, he did what? Wait. And it was my first experience with a guy that I idolized, and I felt like, you know, I was let down as a kid. And I know Mike Vick doesn't owe me anything, but that was a tough moment for me to see that happen, and then still go, you know what, that's my favorite player. My favorite player did this. And look, I don't know him personally. I'm sure he's a great person, but just the animal cruelty thing that happened with that and how much I love dogs, it was tough. I mean, it rocked me hard as a kid. I mean, I remember crying in my room and upset that what he did, and now he's going to prison. I'm not gonna go watch him play football, and just it was a tough time. It was one of those moments where a guy you idolize, you had him on a pedestal, and something like that happens. It's tough, you know. So again, never gonna judge someone for their background, but I remember it hit me pretty hard when I was a kid, just because of how much I loved Michael Vick growing up.
Well, it just shows that if you're Michael Vick, if you're Kyler Murray, when you are a face of a franchise, what you take on is you have to really think about the decisions that you're making, and we're obviously seeing that. And maybe it was an oversight by Kyler, but a massive oversight that he should have thought about, because you're an adult and you are a face of a franchise. I do want to move on though.